I want to bring in the man who hasn't spoken yet, been waiting very patiently. So Wilfred Emmanuel Jones, the black farmer from Chippenham. You've been listening to this, Wilfred. I think you voted Brexit. You've been a staunch supporter of it.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling today, 3 years on from it coming into play, given all the negative vibes about Brexit now?
Paul Richard has been given a bit of a kicking. But I just think, look,
I mean,
any
he did wipe out
change...
my entire monologue and then...
No, he doesn't.
And then
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't deserve it, because I think what everybody's forgetting, any change involves pain. Those of us who were Brexiteers, we cannot stand here and say, actually, we are now, at this particular moment, seeing the benefit. It does not mean that in another 5-10 years we will then see the benefit. Is that anything is going to actually determine having some faith that the decision we made 3 years ago will pay off.
But sometimes,
and the reason why we're struggling
Wilfred,
at the moment
sometimes the strongest thing a country can do, or leaders can do, is just admit when they got something wrong. They don't have to be demonised for it. We don't have to demonise people who voted for Brexit. But my question really is, this clock, is it open-ended? Does it go on forever? If in 10 years' time Brexit has been a demonstrable disaster, do we just carry on?
Piers, let me talk.
Yes,
Piers,
Wilfred.
What I'm saying is that it's unfair to judge people 3 years in. I think that if we were having this conversation in 5-10 years' time, oh yes, really, because we don't really have the freedom yet that we actually voted for. If we cannot even sort out the immigration problem because of all the restrictions.
We've actually had, I would say, about 8 years, right? Because we had a year before the referendum to get our ducks in a row about what Brexit would look like. The referendum happened in 2016. It's now 2023. It's not 3 years, is it? It's 8 years we've had. And over an 8-year period, we now have to accept, as we sit here, nothing's working. Even Richard Tice, who loves it, admits nothing's working.
But that's got nothing to do with Brexit. It's because of the energy crisis. It's because of the inflation.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Right? That's got nothing to do with Brexit.
That is not what a lot of people tell me at the sharp end.
Come on, Piers, you know that.
Actually,
don't confuse...
I will not be disingenuous and say I don't think they're all contributing factors. But I also know that there are specific issues about Brexit, which people will tell me who run restaurants and bars and all these things. They all say that Brexit has been a massive problem for them with staff. All of them say the same thing.
There's two other things that Brexit has done. One is it has caused a labour shortage. Yes, we might get to somewhere where we
just had record immigration last year. It can't be a labour shortage. It's a willing worker shortage
record number of people leave.
No, it's because the country is facing.
No, because the people we've got... We've had more than 1 million people. It's the highest immigration. I know that.
Right.
I know the
figures.
You've
just agreed with me.
No, I haven't.
Hasn't quite yet agreed with me.
I haven't agreed with you on that. What I've said is they're not the people we need who are... The people who are coming in a million...
Oh, so the wrong sort of people have come into the country.
Yes, they are the people who left, who are not picking fruit, who are not working in the care service, who've left the NHS. We have who are not in hospitality. Every area is suffering. But the thing that I get so upset about in all of this is that Wilfred says, 5-10 years. What about the businesses that are going to go under in that time?
Right.
What about the people who are going to die because there's nobody to care for them in the community? What about the children who have no teachers? We can't wait to fix these things until 5-10 years.
People? What about the 5 million people?
That's not a bad idea, but it will take time.
It's a great idea. Look after the British people.
Richard, is there a moment with Brexit?
Realistic.
Is there a moment for you where if it demonstrably has not worked, you would say, OK, it hasn't worked?
No, because look...
Or is it just never-ending?
Let me repeat what I just said, Piers. The challenges the country is facing in terms of high energy prices, high taxes, high cost of living, has got nothing whatsoever to do with Brexit. You are deliberately conflating and confusing the two to suit your own argument.
No,
and let me just remind you.
Let
me just remind you. The NHS has never had such record levels of funding.
I would argue those IMF numbers today make
the IMF, the worst forecaster.
OK. But if you take the numbers at face value today, what they show is that we are underperforming a number of other senior countries in the G7 who all face the same challenges, all faced COVID, all faced a war in Ukraine. The common theme for them is that none of them had the additional problem of Brexit, which may explain why we are currently bottom of the class.
You're just agreeing with me.
Come in here.
Yeah, I just think it's obvious, isn't it? If you don't have trading links, where you suddenly...
We have got trading links. We've got a trade deal. We've got...
Where's the American trade deal?
Richard,
we haven't got an American trade deal.
We're nowhere near it.
Hang on, but Piers, who have we got the biggest trading surplus with? The United States. right?
Right.
But we've got
With
70
tariffs.
trade deals.
With tariffs.
We've
We
got
don't do
70
trade
trade
deals?
deals. Well, it's our
With-
biggest
with
surplus. It's our
tariffs.
biggest single
Have
trading
you read about
partner.
steel? I mean, we
Have you read about our
tariffs
trading
with the
surplus?
US,
Wow.
Do you
And
want
we've
to-
got a big trading surplus with them.
which we have to
And
pay
you do
for. That
realise-
costs
you do
businesses an
realise that our
extortionate
goods and
amount.
exports have increased by 16% since the end of the transition period.
Mm-hmm.
Ramonas and Remainers don't like to talk
All
about
right,
that.
Well,
well,
it's
let
been
me
not-
bring
that
in
doesn't
Wilfred.
help anybody.
Let me bring in
Sorry,
Wilfred
It's
again.
the truth.
Let me
We've
ask
grown.
Wilfred
Not
specifically.
names. No, we haven't.
Wilfred, are there any farmers that you've come across who genuinely believe Brexit has been brilliant for their business?
At the moment, most people will tell you that Brexit has not been good for their business. Okay,
Right.
Okay.
but you don't
rest
make
my
decisions
case.
based on how. But hold on. But hold on. But you do not make decisions based on the pain that you're feeling today. It's about having faith that the decision that we made 3 years ago, in the long term, is going to be a benefit. We
Well,
are
we made the
investing
decision
in
a lot
our
longer than
future.
3 years ago.
So
Well, that's my point. We made the decision in 2016. It actually only came into reality
Yeah, but it takes
3 years
more-
ago. Yeah, but we've had 8 years to get this right. It's not a 3-year thing, is it?
No. You're going back to your thing about sort
I
of
don't think
8
it's
years
a
ago.
small thing.
I just
But the
think
other
in
thing-
all...
Gina, final word to you.
The other
Well-
thing that Brexit has done is that people don't want to invest in our country because we're not seen as a stable, credible political system, that we can't deal with crisis. And that's why we're not getting inward investment. And that's going to affect growth and people's
Well, it doesn't help
confidence
when you
and
had
credibility
the farce
in
of
us.
Liz Truss.
That's what I'm saying.
destroying the
So I think
economy.
Brexit
Because
is
we're raising
exposed.
taxes when we should be cutting them. We should be going for
Because
growth.
that
We're not
worked out
raising
so well.
Well, Liz Truss
Yeah.
tried all that.
No,
Yeah.
you've got to cut. You've got to
Liz
tax
Truss-
business
got
taxes.
we have not got a
cut
credible
business
country.
taxes, and you
People
cut
don't
taxes for the
believe in
lowest
us. They
paid,
don't
the
have
least well off.
confidence.
Right.
That's our policy.
It's
That's
one of the
right way of
reasons that
doing it.
Rishi Sunak is slightly hesitant about that, is that he campaigned on not doing that against Liz Truss. She campaigned on being the fairy godmother, cutting everyone's taxes, and the whole thing was a complete
Because she
disaster.
didn't say how she was going to fund it. Of course, if you're going
Right.
to cut taxes and go for growth, you say
All
how
right.
you're going to fund it.